Be right back.
Alright guys, welcome to the show. We are back in action and we're going to get launched up here. So of course, if you guys don't know yet, this is semifinals, Ghostlake versus Avely. The other semifinals of course was Army Corps versus the Mista. Army Corps taking it. Or sorry, the Mista taking it 3-2. It was a very close series. It started out Army Corps with a 2-0, but Mista came back to win 3 times in a row. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot. Welcome, welcome. No, the commentators are Chicks and Lorenzo. So I'm Chicks and Lorenzo will be with us shortly. So this is definitely exciting games, and let me just bring up a window to show you guys what these players have been through. So just let me bring up the brackets here real quick. They're just at our PK site. And looking at the semifinals, we have Ghostlake and Avely. And of course, the winner of Ghostlake and Avely will play the Mista in the finals, which is a best out of 7. However, we're getting a best out of 3 right now. Ghostlake beat Scatty 2-0, and he also beat Bert 2-1. There was a group stage beforehand, and they did end up coming through. Avely, who beat Eero in the bracket of 16, 2-1, getting admin win versus Rangers as they were not able to schedule on time. All right, so well, yeah, absolutely. There is a new AoMT game coming out for Steam. That should be quite interesting. But right now we're playing on Avely, and we're up for an exciting 1-1 match. This is match number 1, best out of 5. All right, and Mr. Lorenzo, are you back with us?
Yes, just heads up. I seem to have the hiccups, so
Okay, no
if you
problem.
suddenly hear me hiccuping, then you know what's gonna happen.
Okay, so the map was Ghostlake, and it looks like they're going to save it. And I will just go ahead and host again. Now, rule states that if it is Highland, both players may agree to save the match, in which they did. Every other match must be played, and there's no restarts, and there's no civilization restrictions. So it's full out.
And what happens in the case of disputes between civilizations?
Well, that's another story, but we'll get to it. Okay, so I just want to cover the gods here real quick and the matchup. So at the bottom of the map, we have red, Ghostlake, playing Poseidon. And of course, the map here is Midgard. And at the top of the map, we have Avely in blue playing Isis. So you mentioned, what if there's a god dispute? Well, it's reviewed independently, right? Each case is independent. We go over it, see what the dispute is about, and we may force a random god civilization in that case.
All right, so let's say that Avely didn't want to play Isis against Ghostlake's Thor, but would go for Oranos. But as Ghostlake switched to Thor, he would switch back to Oranos, so he would have a constant back and forth. Would that trigger some sort of rule that would force both of them to
Well,
play a random god? Or?
well, sure. If it gets reviewed, I mean, as I mentioned, each case is independent. It really depends on the player's past history with other matches, and we just go from there.
All right, so there's no specific rule. It's just
Right.
independently reviewed.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right, makes sense, I guess. It's the proper way to do it, I think. But obviously, in bigger tournaments, you can't do that. But I guess we can do it here.
Okay. So speaking of the map, do we see anything interesting here? We have a rather protected mine here from Ghost Lake in between two towers and behind a wood line. And of course, as for Avely, we have a backward mine, which is also in between the two towers, a little open towards the wood line here in the back. What are you thinking here? It looks like their fish is quite decent. However, I think Avely does have better fish so far than Ghost Lake. Um, However, he did find some fish here, so it's not all that bad. Any comments on this matchup? We do have Poseidon versus Isis. Now, it was rather predictable that Ghost Lake would have chosen Poseidon in this case. Poseidon has always been his main civilization. Um, Avely, well, he's been picking. I was never too sure. He did play Isis in our last tournament, so I guess that could have been a note there. What do you think about this matchup in particular?
I think this matchup is definitely favored for ISIS in general, and that's not looking at this specific map, but Midgard in general, because it's very hard to stop the push with Ancestors plus Eclipse plus Elephants and Siege Towers for the Poseidon player. It's very difficult. So I feel like we're going to see an Ancestors plus Eclipse push, and whether Ghostlake will be able to stop it or not, I think that's going to be a major factor in the game.
So you think it's just going to be a fast heroic, classic A&E push, is your prediction?
Pretty much, yes, with a lot of elephants. Although the fish doesn't seem that great for both players. It's kind of lackluster, to be honest, so far, but obviously we haven't really seen Avely's side so far. I feel Avely's second dock placement is a little poor. He should probably have gone towards the other side and dock the corner instead of randomly docking the side. Because the only reason why you would want to dock the side is if there's fish there to minimize the drop-off, plus make them much more safe as well, because you can obviously garrison them if you are being harassed.
Right. Okay, very good then. I do agree on the second dock. Completely agree. That second dock wasn't really a smart idea. I think it should have been scouted to see if there's any fish on the shoreline before you end up docking. That's what I usually do. I usually bring a Pharaoh along the shoreline, which the Pharaoh has quite a bit of line of sight, so it should be able to scout it.
Well, I wouldn't bring the Pharaoh along, but I would definitely look for fish. For example, if you go a little bit up from his second dock, you will see 3 fishing spots. What he should have done is scouted with a fishing ship and then docked that side. You don't make your second dock blindly. That's actually really poor play. I'm actually surprised that Avely does that, because I consider Avely a pretty good player. And he's also a pretty experienced ISIS player, so he should know these things, but this is just textbook wrong. There's no way going about it. You should scout with a fishing ship, or at least with a villager, or get knowledge of fishing being there before placing your second dock, because this is just terrible. And if you see that his third dock, I think that is his third dock, yes it is, he did place that at a fishing spot, because he had the knowledge there, so that's typically what you will do. But the second dock placement is just really, really poor.
Yeah, I must agree there. I mean, if it's not the Pharaoh, the villager has a considerable amount of line of sight as well, which should be able to scout some fish spots. Anyway, we have Ghostlake, who already up to the classical age, and he is Hermes, making his first hero now. And of course, we have this hippocampus, which is essentially just a scout. It's very good scout.
Yes,
Actually, quite handy.
hippocampus is Latin for seahorse.
A seahorse, is it?
Yes, seahorse. We also have a region in our brain, like if you go towards the middle and you go all the way down in our brain, in our cerebral cortex, as it's officially called, you will also see the hippocampus. And that was also named a hippocampus because a scientist who discovered it found it looking like a seahorse, which is
Yeah.
why they named it hippocampus.
Well, you're not a scientist, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, maybe one day you'll be a scientist.
Maybe one day. A do-it-yourself scientist.
All right. So we got some boats here going towards Avely. Avely clearly not making any boats on the sea. Is this more of a, as you predicted from before, you said he was going to go just straight to heroic?
Yeah, but you do need to protect your fish, because if you get pushed off fish, then obviously you can make as many elephants as you would ideally want to make. So he does need to make some cabinets, and that's what he's doing right now. Only from one dock though. Or, well, I guess he's making from the other 2 docks as well, so it's from 3 docks. But that's not really the side that Ghostlake seemed to be pushing. Well, to be fair, he's going for both sides, but he's definitely focusing more on the top, as you can see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships on the top, whereas there's only 1 ship on the right side. So
right.
he should really be using his arrow ships here, and then I'm talking about Avely. He should really be using his cabinets because he has the advantage on the right side, which is what Ghostlake is doing. He's pressing his advantage on the top side because that's where he has the ship advantage, and Avely should be doing the same thing to the right.
Yeah, he is. It looks like it's quite a decisive advantage here for Ghostlake at the top of the map. He does have 5 boats down to Avely only having a couple there. So definitely those boats are going to end up getting picked off. He does have low hit point boats though, so and he is focusing on them, which is very good. Avely looks like not the best micro here. He was focusing on fishing boats while his tire aims in this case were getting picked off. So lots of boat wars there. Harassment going on from both sides of the water, and Ghostlake just aging out with Diagnosis. Is he going to make more Skyless here?
He already made 1 extra. I don't know if he's gonna make a 3rd one. I don't think he made a 3rd one. I know he has 2 on the map right now. And so yeah, he is basically a full minute ahead of Avely in aging. So that's a pretty substantial advantage. So I wonder how he's gonna go about this. He currently is researching medium cavalry as well as making some hippicons. I'm interested to see how this will play out. It doesn't seem like he's making any additional ships. He doesn't seem to be making any siege boats or anything of the sort. He doesn't seem to be making additional Skilla as well. It's basically the 2 Skilla.
Yeah, at this point he's just making fishing boats. I think the Skyless should be taking care of everything pretty much, because it's really a headache to fight Skyless. And there is a ceasefire. Why did he call it so early? Did Avely have a scout in his town?
I don't really know. It could be that he wanted to delay the Migdol stronghold, but then the question is, why would you do it immediately? You would wait like 10 seconds, because nobody's gonna get a Migdol up in 10 seconds and then cast it, because you don't know if he would have to walk, or if he was already ready, waiting to throw down his Migdol. Also, I typically just don't really agree with that decision. I think he just wants to delay the elephants. I really think that's all it is, delaying the elephants. But he would have done a better job by not casting ceasefire and harassing the fishing ships. That would have been more effective at delaying the elephants, to be honest. Also, Avely had some barracks up, so obviously he's not going to be without an army at all. And he's grabbing a town center now. And actually grabbing a town center, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel a strong heroic push is probably the better decision. But in all honesty, it's very hard to win when you've more or less lost water. I mean, he's still fishing water, but he will lose it soon because he doesn't really have anything against the skiller. So playing an economic game, not the best idea, but attacking straight into him, also not the best idea.
Yeah, well, here I just want to quickly mention we got some priest on the Hydra here, and Ghostlake is being pushed off gold. Looks like that is his only gold mine at this time, as this one is about to run out. It's only got 350 gold on it.
He's also losing a lot of villages, by the way.
Yeah, that was very unnecessary amount of villagers. Avely not calling A&E yet.
He's not only being pushed off, like he also loses a lot of villages. It's very important.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Doesn't have salt amphora yet. That kind of bugs me because it's such a great upgrade.
And also keep in mind, I think Avely's playing really good here. He's got quite a few fish on this map. Although it looks like this Skyla is just pretty much annihilating all these fishing boats right now.
Yeah, something he should do is really keep track of his Skyla. For example, the one at the left top right now is idle. He should really be paying attention to that, that as soon as a fishing ship is destroyed, he immediately goes to destroy other fishing ships. Because Avely did get the last fishing upgrade, so he's going to get a lot of income from the fish, and he needs to be pushed off. The one at the right top right now is doing a good job.
Pretty much, as soon as the Skylas come out, there's nothing you can do about it. Because as soon as those Skylas pick off 1 or 2 fishing boats, Skyla has 3 heads, that's 60 attack, triple the attack. It's absolutely enormous amount of attack. Just pretty much destroying any boat in a single hit. And Skylas can get up to 5 heads. Here we go, we got 3 heads on the other one as well, without losing any hit points. So that's quite impressive.
Yeah, again, he needs to move the Skyla though. It's idle at the moment. He really needs to punish that fishing. Like there's 6 fishing ships that are fishing at the moment that shouldn't be fishing, or at least should be harassed.
Well, it started to move now, and looks like he's still after those fishing boats. And Avely is really going to be behind on food income. Although Ghostlake is losing quite a bit of Hippocons to myth units and spearmen.
Seems like Avely wants to grab this town center here, but I don't think it's gonna work out.
Okay, Avely just calling A&E right over here on his gold mine. I didn't see that gold mine actually, I just noticed it. I thought he was mining over there, wasn't sure what's going on, but
yeah, it's because of the stables. They kind of obscure the yellow on the minimap.
Yeah. And he did lose a couple villagers, quite a few units. And Avely looks like he's doing pretty good down there. We do have an Eclipse Scorpion just absolutely killing all these Hippocon that were here. There's 5 Hippocons dying to a Eclipse Scorpion man, eating them up for breakfast, pretty much.
There's so much going on right now, it's actually pretty hard to keep track of everything that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to mention again here at the main town center, we still have Eclipse and Spearmen taking out some more Hippocons. Ghostlake making some anti-infantry, the high pasties. It was Ghostlake unexpected to see this many spearmen, or was he expecting elephants, as you mentioned?
Well, I actually talked a lot with Ghostlake prior to these matches, and we talked about a specific matchup, and we actually discussed Midgard in depth, because we had differing opinions about how Poseidon should be playing that matchup. And
because let me just put it down to the road here.
It's nearly impossible to beat a push with elephants with Anticipus Eclipse, so I do think he was expecting that.
Let me just bring it down to you here, because really Ghostlake as it is has already lost way too many Hippocon to Spearmen, and just now he's transitioning into anti-infantry. I mean, he just started making high pasties and some Toxtos. Would you prefer Toxtos or anti-infantry in this case?
Toxoty are really good units. They are very strong archers. And as for Hippospis, the problem is Hippospis aren't good against anything else, whereas Toxoties are good against pretty much everything except siege towers.
That's
so
right.
I do like his choice for going Toxoty. He is very behind right now, Ghostlake, that is.
I agree, and it looks like he's just going to call it good game right there. It was a rather interesting game. Ghostlake just calling ceasefire that early, and of course being pushed off gold here, which is the main cause for his for resigning in this case. Of course, you know, keep in mind Ghostlake does have quite a bit of fish, but Avely was able to keep up with that food income, made a few farms there, and notice at the end there, Lorenzo, that he switched into chariot archers for that reason, that he didn't have food. So I think Ghostlake should have really put that in perspective, knowing that Avely did not have food and that he was going to start making chariot archers.
I think he just played bad in general. Ghostlake, that is. I don't think he played well at all.
Okay, on to
Ich hasse Anatolia. Ist immer für einen.
on to match number 2, fellas. Match number 2 in a best out of 5. Of course, we just saw there Avely wiping out Ghostlake in game 1 on Midgard. Great game.
Solange kein Midgard und Anatoli, alles gut. So basically he's saying, as long as I do not get Midgard or Anatolia, then everything is fine. And he also says, Alfheim braucht auch nichts. I don't exactly know what that means, but if I translate it literally, it says, Alfheim needs also not. So he probably means, I also do not want Alfheim.
Yeah, notice there's no lag in this game, and that's because I mentioned before I have corporate internet, but it's just that I had to connect the wire. I was using Wi-Fi the whole time. Okay, so we're all back in it here, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Poseidon and Isis again. I mean, I did also mention in game 1, and what I did mention was that Ghostlake's main civilization was Poseidon, and everybody knows that. But we're seeing a lot of Isis from Avely, so definitely I think we're going to see Isis for the rest of these matches here. So just back to the match details. On the left side of the map, we have Avely playing Isis, and he's in red. On the right-hand side of the map, we have Ghostlake in blue, of course, playing Poseidon. Just casting his lure now next to the berries. Is that a good lure placement? Where do you like to cast it personally?
It really depends. I think you're asking whether you should cast it at your granary or at your town center. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, you will cast it at your town center on high hunting maps, because on high hunting maps, the most important thing about Greek is having different food spots. If you look at professional Greek players such as the Mista or even Alafang actually, and obviously Ghostlake, what you will see them do is they will actually move units very quickly from their main food source, even though there's still animals to be hunted, to another food source. So for example, as soon as they get something like 7 on food and they scout another food source, what they will do is they will move like 3 or 4 villages to another food source. So they have the villages divided over food sources, and that grants them a more stable income. That's actually what we're seeing right now. If you're looking right now, what you see is he has 2 villages at one granary where the lure is placed, and he has 5 villages at the other food source. So what you do on high hunting maps, as hunt is abundant anyway, you place it at your town center, and the reason for that is that you can have a third hunting spot, and it's also much safer. Whereas on maps like these, where you do not have that much hunt, you will typically place it at your granary. It also depends on the strategy. If you want to rush, you will typically want to make it at your granary, because that allows for a smoother transition. Plus, if you somehow get trolled, like you do not have enough food to advance to classical of your starting hunt, which happens sometimes. For example, watering hole, you can start with like 3 gazelles as your starting hunt. Then obviously you also place it at your granary for the additional food, so you can advance properly, get hand axe, get the archaic hero, etc.
Gotcha. So I appreciate you clearing that up for us. So just down to the map here. Speaking of the map, right? Ghostlake just making a storehouse behind his town center at that gold mine that gold mine looks rather exposed, even though technically it's a backward gold mine, but I think it's really exposed. He's got no trees or anything. He does have a second town center nearby. Maybe if he picked that up, it will be easier for him to protect it, but he does not have any natural resources nearby to help him with that. Speaking of Avely, however, now keep in mind this is a one mine Ghostlake. So speaking of Avely, we have only one mine, but it's in the forward rather. He does have, he is building his temple in front of it. What do you think of the mine placements? They look rather fair, don't they?
Well, obviously not everything has been revealed yet, but so far, yeah, it looks fairly fair. I like using that phrase, fairly fair.
Fairly fair. Okay, very good then. Now, speaking of gold mines in general, though, looks like most of them is on the left side of the map, whereas the town centers are all on the right side of the map. Well,
hold on. So let me get it straight. Does Avely have one pack of, two pack of, three packs of caribou against Ghostlake's one pack of caribou? Am I seeing that correctly, or is that just an illusion?
well, I think Avely is. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, no, that's very unfair. That's probably gonna decide the game. But who knows? Ghostlake is a very good player. Maybe he can overcome the disadvantage, but this is a very large disadvantage for Ghostlake.
Sure thing. And of course, Avely getting more sheep, or perhaps goat, on this map than Ghostlake. Avely just collecting twice as many goats here. So that's definitely going to help him with his...
that's really luck based.
That's definitely going to help him out with his food income later in the game. Looks like Avely just being pushed off his caribou there in the front now by Ghostlake's hero. And looks like here on Ghostlake's side, he's starting to wall up the map in hopes to protect his gold mine and play more of a defense type of game here. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's what's generally going to happen in ISIS against Poseidon games. Actually, Ghostlake is a little bit lucky that he's Greek against ISIS, so he obviously has the early advantage with the double heroes, like the archaic hero and the classical hero. They are very strong. It's very hard to take them down, and they can absorb a lot of damage. So he could actually push Avely off the caribou, and maybe he can keep Avely off the caribou. But obviously, the problem is as soon as he gets some units, then Avely may be able to reclaim that hunt. And that will be very detrimental.
Ouch.
But it's actually not as big as a disadvantage as it would be, for example, if this was Zeus against Uranus or something. But yeah, Ghostlake can control those hunting spots, so it doesn't matter that much. I exaggerated a little bit.
I wanted to say very quickly here, Avely's currently have the Eye of Horus. Did you mention that already?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, that's actually a really nice relic, and I'm surprised that he's got it in his hands right now. Plus the ISIS bonus, which already has +3 population on each town center. That +2 population for 3 town centers, that's like having 4 town centers compared to 3 conventional town centers from any other civilization. That's a huge advantage, and you know, I consider that relic to be one of the better ones in this game without a single doubt. I want to mention here, Lorenzo, real quick. Here at the side of the map, we're talking about 8 o'clock corner. We have Avely and Ghostlake fighting for each other's hunts. I think that was Ghostlake's second caribou hunt here, so I don't think the map was that bad, but that hunt could have definitely been in a better place if it was located further towards Ghostlake's side here. But anyway, Ghostlake losing a ton of villagers. Let's say he's going to end up losing... Okay, well, he almost lost that one. He lost
Don't
at least...
forget that he also lost traveling time. He lost a lot of time actually walking towards the hunt, so you have to count that in as well. And then he lost a lot of villages. And like he's trying to defend against it because obviously he wants his hunt, but it's not going to happen.
I'm not sure why Avely went that far out from the map. I mean, clearly, I just don't think it was a smart idea. He's already got a ton of sheep. He's got berries there. He's got berries on his second TC. Why did he have to send his villagers down towards that side of the map. I mean, it's just a waste of villager walking time. And on the other hand, Ghostlake is playing on the Ghostlake is the aggressor in this matchup. Poseidon versus Isis. Ghostlake is going to be the aggressor here earlier in the match. So I just don't think it was the best idea. However, Avely just coming back with the Sphinx, picking off those 2 villages off Ghostlake. Not very smart for Ghostlake to leave the villages there, knowing the Sphinx is still around.
I kind of wonder what he was thinking, because like that was obviously, especially with the vision, he still had the canary there, so he had vision. So yeah, I really don't know what he was thinking there. Priest got picked off because it was trapped by the forest. Very sad. But he got a lot of obelisks off. I wonder if any of them will survive.
That Sphinx has definitely put in a lot of work already this game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now just hitting upon the Hippocons. And really just an annoyance, a big annoyance to deal with that Sphinx without Bolt. Where Zeus can
also
just...
that damage sticks. The Poseidon has 0 ways of healing his units. He doesn't have restoration. He doesn't even have Apollo for the theoretical Temple of Healing.
Yeah.
He has nothing. So
pretty much
all damage will stick.
Exactly, and that's just a loss of resources. It's never worth it to be fighting a Sphinx, but it looks like he just lost it now.
Yeah, the Hippolyta was kind of obscured between the forest, so it was hard to see.
It was a nice hidden place there behind the trees. I personally didn't see it. I saw something shooting there, but I thought it was a villager just shooting at some hunt, which was not visible, which I did not see. But anyway, clearly it was a hero. That's good. He got rid of the Sphinx. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, it's actually pretty important that you do not lose the Sphinx when you're going for a fast heroic, which Avely is kind of doing. I mean, he's going heroic right now. He made no barracks unit, so you can more or less classify that as a fast heroic. It's not as fast from 1 TC, but from 2 TCs, this is quite fast.
Well,
if you lose the Sphinx, you will actually lose a considerable amount of power when you're pushing out to build the Migdol at your second gold mine. So that's important that you kill the Sphinx as Poseidon and keep the Sphinx alive as Isis. So it was a minor victory for Ghostlake there.
You know, now that I see it, it's really not worth it to go double TC if you can't afford making villagers. Either that or, you know, he forgot to make villagers of that second TC for some time now.
Avely has signal fires. That's pretty interesting. We don't see that. We don't see that upgrade research at this time in the game usually.
Well, you know what? I play Isis quite a bit, and I like to... Okay, he's losing quite a lot of hit points on those villagers. Maybe even losing a couple. Okay, well,
yeah, I think he lost 3?
Yeah, I think it was 3 villages there. Just not very smart. I mean, I never liked that wood line right there. It was just disgusting wood line on Avely's second TC.
Yeah, you just needed a little wall.
Yeah, just a nice wall there to prevent just useless... these raids, you know. I mean, they're expected. These raids are very expected. Just a little wall could have prevented all that. We have some raids at the bottom being chased by Scorpion Men, however. And that priest is going to end up losing. Speaking of signal fires. Yeah. Well, as Isis, it's only 135 wood. And really, it's a nice tech if you think about it. Signal fires really gives you a ton of line of sight, especially if you got obelisks, which Isis builds a ton of obelisks since they get cheaper and they build them faster. So signal fires, absolutely. I'll keep another villager on wood just to research it as soon as I get heroic. Why not? Especially if you're expecting raids all over the map, you know, without a doubt, it's a good tech.
There's 4 Scorpion Men's out right now. That's quite a few for 12 minutes.
Yeah, oh yeah, 4 Scorpion Men. And you know what I noticed at the start of the match here? He built a monument. I'm not sure how early he built it, but he built a second one soon after, before he started advancing. So that could really be a headache for Ghostlake, without a doubt.
Crenellations.
And he has crenellations, so Avely is prepared. Ghostlake just using a ceasefire now. I don't think Ghostlake had any other choice but to use the ceasefire. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. A big problem I have with Avely's strategy, however, like spamming the Scorpion Mans and going
Well,
for a
it's very
strategy
smart.
like this. By the way, that's a huge prosperity, but I'll get to that in a bit. The problem I have with this strategy is that as soon as the Poseidon player gets to heroic and gets his third hero out, the Atalanta, as well as the curse, those Scorpion men won't be doing that much. They really fall off then, so he has to make something work before Ghostlake hits heroic. And as he went for a two town center heroic, and there's no sign of a siege workshop, I feel like he's just using those Scorpion men defensively so that Ghostlake cannot do anything until the heroic age. But the problem that you get from that is that if Ghostlake actually hits heroic age and then builds a somewhat forward fortress and starts making towers with Petroboli, that can actually be very devastating.
Look at this. Look at this.
This is a bad fight for Ghostlake.
Absolutely.
I don't know why he took this to begin with.
I'm not sure either, but I thought he was trying to defend his gold mine, but it looks like he already had a gold mine, which is being harassed by Scorpion men right now, though. And there it is. There's A&E. I think those Scorpion men are essential to an ISIS army for victory in this matchup. I really think so. And, you know, saying that he made too many Scorpion men or whatnot, I mean, the more Scorpion men, the better.
That may be GG actually, because Ghostlake doesn't have any protected gold. Yeah, and the one Scorpion man is going to protect the other. So Ghostlake is going to see that there's a Scorpion man there, that he cannot get any gold, and he's going to resign.
Ghostlake is really having a hard time dealing with this.
I think this is over.
Yeah, he doesn't have any gold, and Ghostlake's got some villagers here at the bottom of the map on standby, hoping just to pick up some gold. But what I figured this match was Ghostlake was just all over the map here and just not able to wall up a gold mine and secure it. Don't you think so? Instead of having...
plus it's like 90% of why this game went went downhill so quickly is because he took that fight that we talked about just a moment ago. I don't know why he took that fight. That was a really bad fight to take, and he lost like all of his army there, and that resulted in what you're seeing here right now.
Right, and Avely just popping up 2 Migdals with crenellations on it. Scorpion men just picking off those Hippicons, coming in with Hypolita, but by that time those Scorpion men already picked off some Hippicons. Another hero down here by Ghostlake, another battle, but Avely's already got a massive amount of chariot archers with 20 range, so they are upgraded chariots, very good at picking off heroes. And there goes the hero, and there goes the Scorpion man. Yeah, the only thing I would have done differently here as Ghostlake was definitely to secure a gold mine. I mean, for heaven's sake, I think if he had a nice wall here near this cliff, a nice wall, you know, that's really going to prevent chariots from busting in, or any Scorpion men for that matter. And you know, Avely played it really smart with the prosperity during ceasefire. I mean, the best time to have a prosperity is during ceasefire. That's absolutely marvelous, because there's really nothing you can do.
That was also a gigantic prosperity. He had 4 mining camps, he had pretty much perfect drop-off, well, nearly perfect drop-off. And he had so many villages on that mine as well. Sadly, he only had pickaxe. If he also had like chef mine or quarry, that would have been even more gigantic. But still, it was a really large prosperity. So if you look at the top right here, you can see Ghostlake is currently mining from kind of an awkward spot, to be honest, because if you look at it, he's like in between 2 Migdals and an army. So
I agree. And those Hippicons are heavy. Hippicons are very heavy on gold here, and he's still making Hippicons. Ghostlake already...
On the right side, he's mining with a lot of villages at the bottom.
Yeah, I think he should be able to defend that off with the 15 Hippicons that he's got there stationed. Yeah, Ghostlake is just all over the map. I mean, it works, but I mentioned before, walls really could make it all the better for him. He does have nice text though. Ghostlake does have shaft mine for his villagers, where Avely's yet still on pickaxe. Really hard for
I don't
Ghostlake.
see Ghostlake taking down this forward base anytime soon, especially with the large monument, the monument to priests. It has quite a few hit points, plus it protects from god powers, obviously, so there's no curse, there's no earthquake, not that he will reach Mythic anytime soon. He just upped Dionysus, so...
I'm really surprised. I mean, has Avely been training these matches, or?
I don't know. I don't really talk to Avely. I only talk to Ghostlake.
He's doing really well. Um, he's pushing Ghostlake right now from his third TC, and without a doubt, going to take it down here shortly. I do think Avely should start mixing in some spearmen at this point. I don't think elephants will do, because elephants are just really heavy on food. Elephants or spearmen, I mean either one, but spearmen are more mobile. And
That's true.
if you're going to be...
Oh, that's going to be rough. The top.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to deal with. I mean, Ghostlake just getting heroic age, but I don't know how he's going to deal with Meteor and all these siege towers. And he's making catapults now. Hydra being killed. Elephants being healed. That's kind of funny. But I think Spearman would have been the better unit combination here with his chariots, because I want to finish the thought here. Okay, quick mention. I just want to quickly mention villagers destroying here a fortress. This is really a big game changer, as this is currently Ghostlake's second mine. And if that goes down, he's only left with this mine, which does have a considerable amount of gold on it, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Although he might want to take those villages out from action. But to finish a thought, Lorenzo, the spearmen, I'm really convinced that they're good at raiding with those chariots, because chariots always get pushed off by Hippocon. You can't fight Hippocon with chariots. In hand attack, that is. And when they come in close, right, it gets really messy. So I really think spearmen would have been the better work there. So bronze looks pretty nice on those militia. That is extensive armor on those militia. That is pretty heavy. Hippocon putting in some work, but since he's got correlations on double Migdal, I don't think it will last for too long. Ghostlake's score looking pretty good. His economy looking good as well, but he's only got 2 town centers. What do you think? Looks like Ghostlake has secured a gold mine down there, so do you think this match will continue?
I think this has been open for a while. Just Ghostlake hasn't designed yet. I don't see how he can win this. If he does it, I'm going to be thoroughly amazed, and I'm going to applaud and you name it. But I don't think it will happen.
But you gotta also understand, Avely hasn't really been harassing his gold as he used to. Now he is. He just sent some chariots down, but Ghostlake needs to secure a gold mine, and if he does, the match will go on. Otherwise, he's gonna really have a hard time to do any damage, because right now Ghostlake is fighting in between towers, Migdals, town centers. I don't think this is the way to go. Should he even be fighting on that side, or should he be fighting on the other side? Because this is really heavily armored here. Should we go mythic? How do you take this out? I mean, you can't use Hetroi because nobody uses them. They're too expensive. They're too slow. How can you destroy all this stuff?
Well, what he could do is he could make a fortress at like his back town center and then start making hyperbole, and the wood line actually makes for a natural wall. He only needs a few walls here and there, and then he can siege the town center pretty efficiently. So that's what he could do, but like I don't know if that will be enough.
Now I want to mention here, and this is a big factor in the game right now. Avely does not have that good of a trade. He's only getting 29 gold for trade cart. So if that remains, that's really not getting him anything. Um, clearly the scores are starting to close in. And Ghostlake just might be able to catch up. Because that's not very effective. What he's got going on with the caravans here is not effective.
Well, it's gonna get larger soon.
Okay, yeah, he just built a market up there, but Ghostlake does have some villages up on the top of the map, so just wondering what he'll end up doing with those.
He also researched the Thracian horses upgrade from Dionysus, which adds a substantial amount of hit points to the cavalry. So that's a nice upgrade.
Yeah, 20%, that is huge. That's over 40 hit points. 40 hit points on Hippocon? That is just absolutely enormous.
Oh, the catapult denying the fortress at the second town center.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, so the problem is that works both ways. Obviously, Ghostlake could have sieged the town center with Petroboli, but obviously, like I just said, it works both ways. So Avely can do the same thing with catapults towards Ghostlake.
I want to focus here on this battle here just for a bit. Was this smart? I mean, Ghostlake is just fighting under 2 Migdal fires. He's running away now after he's seen the Scorpion Men, but I just don't think he should be fighting these battles, period. Now,
well, what do you think he should be doing? He doesn't really have that much of a choice at the moment. Like, the best thing he can hope for is just keep trading army until Avely somehow runs out of resources, but his economy is much better than I think Ghostlake knows.
Well, perhaps...
Even though he only has the plow, but he does have the Book of Thought. He needs to get irrigation and flood control and coinage, and then the game will be over.
But I mean, you're asking me what do I think he should be doing? Well, he should definitely not be moving his Hippocon in the middle of this army here. Sure, he needs to pick off the catapults, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's what he should not be doing. But what should he be doing? Because
okay, I'll tell you what he should be doing.
I don't know what he should be doing right now. I don't really think there's much he can do.
I think he should let his houses in the stables get picked off from the catapults. That's number one. Okay? There's nothing he can do about it. Don't waste your army. Don't go in there. Okay? Just station your army a little bit back. Right? Get more ups. And keep making more Hippocons on the other side of the map. And harassing his economy with at least 10 consistent Hippocon while being passive on the other side. Because think about it this way, okay, Lorenzo? As soon as Avely passes that wood line, his army becomes more exposed. I think that's what Ghostlake should wait for. You know what I mean? As soon as Avely picks off this house, he can't destroy that town center without going around that wood line, making his army exposed to Hippocon. Right now, he's fighting under town center fire, and potentially tower and Migdal fire. So that's what I was talking about. Be a little more passive, wait for him to come in, and as it is, you gotta think about this one, okay? He's getting militia from the buildings that are being raised. Now, of course, Avely just getting champion chariots now. He does have the nasty relic, giving them plus 5% pierce attack, making those super powered champion chariots. What do you think? It's nice.
So basically what Ghostlake has to do, like he straight up has to do, is he needs to get 3 versus 3 town centers, because don't forget Avely is ISIS, so he gets more population, plus he has the relic, which gives him even more population. So a 4 versus 2 town center situation is not going to be winnable in the end. So
absolutely,
what Ghostlake needs to do is he really needs to get this town center down, at least get it down, so it's 2 against 3 town centers, which by the way I think is still unwinnable, but
I agree, but for Ghostlake's third town center, I mentioned this, he should have 10 Hippocon on the other side of the map, harassing his economy and destroying that town center back there. Not only will it give Ghostlake his third TC, but it would also shift the battle and kill off his trade for a short time. You know which third town center I'm talking about? I'm talking about Avely's third town center near the 9 o'clock corner. I think that's a good third TC for Ghostlake, because clearly Ghostlake's third town center, which is located at 2 o'clock, um, it's too heavily guarded. Ghostlake just calling a GG. He's going to
Yeah,
give up.
GG.
He did have protected gold, but it was just too much for him. You mentioned it earlier. Sure, the game was over. You know, Ghostlake lost too many villagers, too much economy earlier on in the game, but just not able to keep up. I mean, looking at the civilian units right here at the end, Avely having over 100, and Ghostlake only just slimming around there, simmering around 50, 55. So just not able to keep up there. Although I was definitely expecting Ghostlake to lose hand of his gold mine much earlier. Okay, guys, so we're going to break for 2 minutes. We will be back here with you guys shortly. Thanks for watching. That was match number 2. Hey guys, welcome back. We are ready to go. Game number 3 on the way. So what do you guys think of the matches here? Speaking to the viewers. If you guys, of course, any questions, let me know. Yeah, it's 2-0 for Avely.
ISIS against Poseidon once again.
Absolutely. Game number 3, guys. Best out of 5 PK
Oh,
tournaments.
that's funny. Avely said in the chat, Oasis please, and he got Oasis.
Semifinals. Here at the bottom of the map, we got Ghostlake playing Poseidon in red. And at the top...
I actually don't think Oasis benefits Avely, by the way, but continue, because I interrupted you.
Absolutely. And at the top of the map, we have ISIS. I am Avely in blue. So you said it doesn't benefit ISIS that much? Well, let's put it in perspective here. ISIS can scout with Pharaoh and Priest. Pick up quite a few sheep, and can really do an aggressive Ancestors Eclipse.
No, actually he cannot do that, which is one of the reasons why it benefits Ghostlake. You can do an Ancestors plus Eclipse push on this map as effectively as on other maps. So he's forced to boom, but the gold mines are placed kind of awkwardly and are typically very hard to secure. Plus, it's fairly easy to wall against the raids, and that goes for both players. But typically, that's an advantage for Poseidon on this map, because he wants to have all of his army in one place, and then he wants to go with the fortress and the walls and the ranged siege, which the Egyptian player doesn't get until Mythic.
Well, I mean, what's stopping him from going a super aggressive Ancestors Eclipse? Nothing. I mean, he's got the food.
Oasis. It's Oasis, so he cannot really get any food, and any food he does get, he will get pushed off from.
Well, sure, but he's scouting with the Pharaoh and the Priest, and he's got 3 zebra there, so I'm sure he's going to pick up at least 12 sheep, which will enable him to have that strategy as an option for him. Well, that's my opinion anyway. I mean, I'm not sure what other ideas you had in mind for the ISIS player. What other viable options does he have?
He probably wants to maybe go for a classic fight, but that's really hard to do against Greek, to be honest. But on this map, you can kind of do it, especially when you have this many goats. Another thing he could be doing is just going for a fast heroic and trying to play it out with chariots and stuff, but that typically loses to just basic mass hippicons, especially when the Poseidon player hits heroic. So I think like some kind of boom strategy with classical units is the way to go here. That's what I think. But I don't think it's an advantage for ISIS. These town centers are really good though.
Yeah, these town centers are very evenly placed for both players, without a doubt. Quite impressed with that. However, the gold mines are definitely in favor of Ghostlake, without a single doubt. I mean, here looking at Avely's side, he's only got his starting mine, and then his closest other mine is pretty much way out in the forward next to the oasis there. Unless there might be a mine in this black spot here. But even if there was, I still think Avely is going to have a very hard time in this map getting some gold, because his town centers are not protecting anything, and so he's going to have to flat out fight for gold the whole game here, especially knowing that this map is very open.
He's not going to... some gold in the black spot.
Okay,
it's
well,
actually fairly close as well, so
he's lucky to have found a gold mine there, so that's not so bad. That's not so bad. All right, now speaking of Ghostlake, are we going to see a classical or anything we wouldn't be expecting from him, or
No,
we
I think he's just gonna make Hippicons. That's what I think he's gonna do.
Hippocons and Hermes.
Yeah, Hippicons, Hermes, and then probably Aphrodite. The real question, what I really want to know is he going to go for a fast second town center, or is he just gonna make straight up Hippicons? That's what I want to know. And I think he's going to go for a second town center, but you never know.
Okay, well, we both know Ghostlake has to win this match,
Yeah,
because if Ghostlake doesn't win this match, he's out of the tournament. He's pretty much done for. Avely advances to the finals. This is a huge match. This is not some scrubby, unrated, having a scenario 12-player match. This is really important to these players. Best out of 5. This is a semi-final, and a lot is at stake here. I just want to emphasize that. So if Ghostlake loses this one, Avely goes 3-0. Best of 5 is finished. He's out of the tournament. Just to quickly mention, we have Ghostlake harassing Avely's villagers, pushing them off some hyenas and berries. I don't think he was gathering from the hyenas either way, but he was pushed off those resources there. So we have Avely just picking up some more sheep on Ghostlake's side. And Ghostlake going for that second town center, as you mentioned.
Ghostlake actually stole some sheep as well, and Avely's trying to get them back, but I don't know if he's gonna walk far enough for them. Oh yeah, he's definitely going to get those sheeps. Yeah, and now he found them, so now he's probably gonna turn around. Yeah. So Ghostlake trying to be sneaky, trying to sneak some sheeps back to his base, but it's not gonna happen. Avely's gonna pick up this scarab pendant relic, which is actually a really nice relic. And let's not forget that he already took the mithril horseshoes, which would have been a very nice relic for Ghostlake, but alas.
Look, those sheep are going to be intersected by Ghostlake's hero here, unfortunately. All 3 of them. And still a bunch of sheep scattered around the map. Sphinx is chasing the centaur. Centaur already at half health. Now the centaur is slower than the Sphinx. So
Yes, it's 0.3 slower, I think.
yeah, so
Sphinx
it's
is 5.3.
definitely, so it's right around a good 5% there.
Yeah, he is gonna get it because he is faster.
Yeah, and then he'll just end up running back.
Yeah, and then
him.
healing, so it doesn't really matter.
Ghostlake making his second hero now from his second TC. That is a beautiful relic. Gives essentially making those siege towers twice as effective. 2 times. It's 100% attack versus the buildings.
Is it a Is it a multiplier of 2?
Yeah, it's a multiplier of 2, so 100%, because siege towers, they have no multiplier versus buildings. They have crush damage.
Yeah.
And so when you put 100%, that's a multiplier of 2 right there.
So he literally does double the damage with his siege towers.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's really devastating. I always loved to pick that relic up as Isis.
Idle Pharaoh, that's not very good. He should be empowering the mining camp.
Yeah, Idle Pharaoh there. Now, you mentioned that that relic that Avely already picked up. He does have mithril horseshoes, so that's going to be really nice for the camels and elephants. Although I'm not expecting any camels here, more likely elephants. Very nice for elephants though.
Yeah, the mithril horseshoes also increases the elephant speed, because obviously elephants are cavalry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the main reason why it's good for Egyptian or raw, in the case of making camels. So here we have 2 myth units ready for Ghostlake. Not very smart, losing some army there. I mean, casting Eclipse or Ceasefire.
Yeah, Ghostlake likes to do that. He really likes to delay any units, and obviously when he delays enemy military units, that will mean he can make more units or boom more, or he gets more time to reach heroic, etc. Because basically the best use of ceasefire is obviously ceasefiring ancestors plus eclipse, but you can't really count on that. You can't just expect to do it every single game. So he's going for the
You
100% value, and that's delaying the Migdol.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to base your strategies off what's viable, right? You can't just base it off the fact that you're going to ceasefire Ancestors Eclipse every single time. You got to base it off actual strategies that work, not just based off of luck or your opponent's, misfortune of missing that second click there.
Sometimes you actually cannot even cast it, like not even in theory, because the speed of an ISIS player may be faster than your microsecond delay, than the lag. So sometimes you can actually not even cast it in theory.
Well, unless there's a skill difference of there's a big skill difference between the two players, you might as well not even try. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now notice all these walls that Ghostlake is building, and that's because of Ancestors Eclipse. If you got all these walls and gates, you can just run through pretty much anything, and it'll deter the effect of any. For everyone who's tuning in, we have commentators, myself, Chicks, and Lorenzo here. We're in game 3. Scorpion Man doing quite a bit of work here. Looks like that Sphinx is going to get picked off by that hero. He does need Hippolyta. Poseidon needs his second hero here. Not sure where she's at. Although I do recommend that Avely picks off that Thesis hero immediately. It's really, really hurting those myth units. But as it is, Avely already lost all his chariot archers, and looks like Avely is going to go back.
Actually getting baited a little bit, and that's Ghostlake getting baited by the low health Scorpion Man. Made him overcommit a little bit, take some unnecessary damage.
Yeah, absolutely, and for the fact that Isis can just heal them so easily. However, Ghostlake looks like I would put the advantage right now in Ghostlake, because that gold mine... Well, I'll tell you why. It's because right now the unit kill ratio is in Ghostlake's favor. Avely lost a ton of chariot archers, just getting surrounded by hippicons. So right now I'd put it in Ghostlake's favor. Although that hero is very low health, so those hippicons could get peeled off rather easily by that Scorpion Man once it's done from the body shop here, from those priests working on those Scorpion Men.
I hope he's going to go heroic soon and not try to overcommit towards attacking or raiding or harassing this gold mine over here. What he should, yeah, he's going heroic right now. Actually, he's going Aphrodite. So he should, like, this is, to be honest, this is overcommitting, I think. Like, there's 3 Scorpion Men out. What are you gonna do except to run yourself stuck in the worst case scenario? And in the best case scenario, you don't do any damage and you just run away. This is what happened right now. So I feel like he should be a little bit more careful and just relax a little bit. He seems very rushed. He seems like he wants to do damage. Like,
well,
I don't think that's really necessary.
Let me make a comment then. Ghostlake is trying to do anything he can to at least harass him. Knowing Avely doesn't have crenellations, he's able to walk in his town. I think that's what he's doing right now. I mean, he saw clearly he doesn't have clear crenellations, so he says to himself, alright, I'm going to walk in there, peel his villagers off the wood line there, and just harass his back town center. And while I do that, I'll just go heroic. Essentially, you know, while he's harassing. And look here, Avely already losing a ton of villagers. This is really unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Another battle going on down here. Curse just being used on the chariot archers. And those hippocons seem to do a very good job on those chariots. However, that scorpion man is putting in just too much work. Ghostlake's going to have to back off there. Okay, so let me just put it down to statistic for you. Ghostlake at least peeled off 15 villagers from behind here. Can you believe that? 15 villagers? I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. That's really a lot of damage. I would say Ghostlake is substantially ahead right now.
Okay, I wouldn't say 15.
What he does need to do, I don't know if he did it already. Ah, yes, he's doing it now, but he should have done it immediately. He should have made Atalanta, which is the third H hero. He should have done that immediately as soon as he reached heroic, because that really increases his map control. So he's kind of slacking on that. Maybe he didn't have enough wood, I don't know. At that point he was just sending a lot of villagers to wood, but he really should have done that much quicker. Right now he should really make his market and start making trade and going mythic, preferably through Hephaestus, because he only has the copper weapons upgrade at the moment. And he should be getting the texts.
Well, it looks like Ghostlake wants to commit here in this battle and just to force an A&E. Not sure even why he's fighting.
Just run through the walls, no problem.
Well, which walls? He's going the wrong way.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. He has the Spirited Charge upgrade, so he's pretty quick.
Oh, that is true. I didn't see it on there. That is definitely 6.05 speed compared to 6 speed.
6.0.
Yeah, making...
So it's pretty much more or less the same.
But he's trapping himself here. Okay, no, he's going around. Not bad.
He didn't run away through the walls. I don't know why he has to, like... maybe he doesn't want the minions to go towards his base, which actually makes sense. I think that was the better decision. I thought maybe he should have run back, but this is the correct decision actually, because this means that he is forced to chase his hippicons with the minions instead of going towards his tower.
Really, it's not looking all that bad. It's not looking all that bad for Ghostlake. That Spirited Charge really helped him, because we seen as Ghostlake was just walking by those chariots never even touched those hippocons. Those hippocons just dodging pretty much every arrow as they're walking.
He spawns quickly, so he's gonna lose 2 villages. I think it's gonna stay with 2 villages, maybe 3.
Ouch.
No, loses 3 villages.
3 villages as... Where were those villagers? Building a market?
No, they were mining the gold on the left, but a scorpion man got to them, as you can see.
Okay, well, I don't think this is a very good battle for Ghostlake whatsoever. He's fighting under tower fire again once again. We got
he seems really eager to pick battles that he should not pick. Like, why doesn't he just relax a little bit, get his economy going, get his walls going, get his buildings going, and just play it a little bit slower. Obviously, you still need to pressure ISIS, but you don't have to be this balls deep 24/7.
Well, let me just tell you something. Keep in mind, those camels are extremely fast. And you know why, right?
Yes, the mithril horseshoes.
Giving them 10% extra speed. That relic is absolutely just incredible. Making them really much faster than Hippocon, able to catch them.
Nice, we have Hephaestus.
And there it is, Ghostlake just aging up Mythic, yeah.
Or isn't. He does have the double armory, so that tells me he probably wants to research Forge of Olympus.
It's not looking too good for Avely here. It's not looking too good.
Yes, Ghostlake definitely seems to be winning this game, but it's not over yet.
It's
definitely not over yet.
Oh, I agree. It's nowhere near over, but without a doubt,
it's kind of near over, but it's not over yet.
It's
obviously these 2 towers and this fortress at the 3rd town center of Avely, that's going to be very problematic. But if you look at this raid in the middle, this is going to kill so many villages.
But okay, this is really going to hurt. Losing at least 8 vills there. Ouch. More than 8 villagers maybe. Ghostlake does have champion Hippocon. I'm very impressed. Champion Hippocon, and he's got double armory down there, so we should be seeing supercharged Hippocons coming on the field here. Now, he did age out with Aphrodite, whereas Dionysus would have given him extra hit points on those Hippocon. 40 more.
A little bit more actually, because Bacchanalia also increases the hit points.
And that's from Aphrodite?
No, Bacchanalia is the tech from Dionysus.
Oh yeah, so that's more than, it's around
It's a little bit more
50,
than 30.
50 hit points.
I think it increases the hit points of all units by about 5%. I don't know if that's right, don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
Notice here how Ghostlake is just fighting Mercenary with Champion Hippocons. And also keep in mind that Mithril Horseshoes giving Cavalry 10% speed also affects Mercenary.
Yep. Pretty funny.
So those Mercenary Cavalry will just sprint across the map without having any problem.
He's just researching Forge of Olympus. That really should have happened a long time ago. He should have managed his economy better, so that he had sufficient favor and sufficient gold to research it immediately upon reaching Mythic. But he's only just now getting it. Kind of sloppy.
Avely does have quite a nice trade route though. He is getting about 100 gold for each trade. And so is Ghostlake.
That doesn't seem like it should be that much. GG.
GG, there it is. Avely just calling it good game, making the series 2-1 for Avely. Keep in mind Avely winning the first 2 games. Very well done by Ghostlake, at least taking 1 game off him, and now putting him back in action for the 4th match here coming up. Now I just want to take a look at his eco ups and what exactly made Avely lose the game. Was it lack of walls? Was it just a waste of army? What exactly made him fall behind? Or perhaps was it just gold mine placement and not just able to secure them? To me, it looks like more of a gold starve. I think that's a big part of it. Although he did have camels and scorpion to help him, but he just couldn't deal with the ongoing raids from Champion Hippocon. It's really hard to deal with, especially knowing that Ghostlake is in his Mythic Age.
Well,
Alright.
he couldn't really get his games going. I mean, his economy, he couldn't really get his economy going. Yeah, and Ghostlake was able to get his economy going. Also, Ghostlake immediately got a 2nd town center, whereas Avely did not. So, that's just very hard to deal with.
Well, that's true, and part of it was some people here in the chat mentioning how A&E was wasted. Well, sure, yes and no. I mean, either way, it's really hard to determine if it was wasted or not. Ghostlake had a ton of walls there. So either way, he could have ran this way or that way. Preferably, I would have used A&E as a direct hit on his base. But I feel that Avely needed to use A&E to help secure himself and secure his base and his gold mine that he had there. I'd have to look back on the game to determine exactly what happened there and why it was used. Either way, Ghostlake did have a ton of walls there, gates all over the place during that ceasefire, of course. Alright, looks like they're good to go. We're on to match number 4 from the best out of 5 series. And here we go again.
In before Anatolia.
Let's see.
No, it's
All
Mediterranean.
right,
That's a free win
Mediterranean.
for Ghostlake.
I'm sorry, you said it was a good map?
That's a free win for Ghostlake.
Oh, free win. Okay, well, we'll have to see then. Here at the bottom of the map, we have Blue Ghostlake playing Poseidon once again, 4 matches in a row. And at the top of the match, we have Avely playing Isis, and it looks like he's going to be playing Isis 100% because he's been playing Isis since the very beginning of these matches here. So here we go. Avely just making his dock now, same with Ghostlake. And you mentioned here to me that it's a free win for Ghostlake. Well, can you explain yourself a little better? Because clearly, I think Isis has a darn good chance of winning this match, and any match for that matter. Any matchup.
Yes, alright, let me explain. The
Go ahead.
arrow ships have 4 more range, which is terribly imbalanced, so he will free win water, and when he free wins water, he gets a large economy advantage. And with the large economy advantage, he will be able to stop the ISIS from getting a nice trade route up and getting her economy up, and from then on, it's going to go all downhill.
So essentially, you're thinking the +4 range on the boats. Have you even considered the fact that the docks are only 50 gold apiece and that he can make
Doesn't
10,
matter.
10
Doesn't
docks?
matter at all.
Of
He
course.
can make a billion docks. It doesn't give his ships more range. Just 4 more range is just so broken. Let's not forget that he also has access to Dionysus. So even though that's not really necessary because the arrow ships are sufficient, but Dionysus is really icing on the cake. That if both players hit heroic at more or less the same time, then
Right.
one will get a skill eye, whereas the other one will get a Leviathan, and the skill eye wins. Plus, the skill eye is much easier to make. They are cheaper, they build faster. Poseidon typically has more favor than Isis, so you know. Poseidon doesn't need 10 favor for a Migdol, so you have that.
I've seen some different strategies here being used by Isis against Poseidon. I've seen a second Leviathan being built and using Ancestors Eclipse on the Poseidon hometown. So, just for the record, and just so it's on the table here, I nowhere think it's a free win for Poseidon. I really think Isis has a 50-50 chance here with Poseidon. I mean, sure. You're talking about the +4 range on the boats, the Skylas and as Dinos is going to secure him water. It's going to guarantee him water. Okay, fine. But then again, Isis is absolutely devastating on the land here. I mean, looking at the town center placement, I like Ghostlake's town center placement better because Avely's got a 3rd TC near the water, which can be picked off by boats.
It's really close to the water.
But to my point, Isis really does a good job, whereas they could just prosperity and pick up 3 town centers very easily, especially because Egyptian has the cheapest town centers in the game. That should really...
Fish is, by the way, the fish is favoring Ghostlake as well. I will be very surprised if Ghostlake loses this. Obviously, there's no law of physics that prevents Avely from winning this game. Let's be clear about that. Anything can happen. But if I would assign odds, assign percentages, I would expect Ghostlake to win this map 95 times out of 100 times. This specific map, maybe even a little bit more.
This specific map, sure. Well, I mentioned earlier on the typical Mediterranean map, it could be 50-50, but on this specific map here, definitely I would favor it further into Ghostlake. You know, I would put it at myself 7 out of 10 for Ghostlake, 8 out of 10. And that's just because...
I would definitely go much higher than that.
And that's just because Ghostlake playing as Poseidon, really his strategy is very predicted. You can predict Poseidon much easier than you would Zeus. And Poseidon, of course, can't make Colossi because it's just generally not cost efficient to do so. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, speaking of strategies from both sides, we want to talk about Isis now. What's the strategy for Isis? He's not going to be fighting in Classical. Do you think he might make some boats in classical, or just go straight for heroic?
I think he should go straight to heroic, but I still think that strategy is not one with which you can win a game. But from like all of the bad strategies, that strategy is the least bad, if you will.
Okay, so you think that's the best strategy ISIS can do?
Yeah, more or less. Just go straight to heroic, try and get a Migdol up, try and maybe gold staff the Poseidon player. Make like one wall on one side and make a Migdol on the other side and just try to rush him, whereas you give up water, but that typically doesn't work at all, especially against good players. So, but that's what I would do. What I would do is, like I just said, I would go heroic.
Yeah.
Then I would assess whether he's following towards heroic or not. If I feel like he's following towards heroic, and typically you can tell if the other player will follow you towards heroic. Like that's it's not like you're totally in the dark. You can usually tell that. And if he is, which he will be doing like 9 out of 10 times, then you will move some villages forward. You will cast Ancestors with Eclipse actually immediately on his base. You will not use it in a push. And then you will make a Migdol stronghold very close over his second goal. And you will wall the other side with walls so he can't go to that side for any gold. And then you will just try to gold staff him. That can work sometimes if you catch the enemy by surprise. But typically that doesn't work. And he's actually going for a classical fight on water, which I think is a really bad choice. But you know.
Now that's something you would do, but clearly in this match, you just mentioned, yes, he is going for a full-on classical fight. Now, you're spending 150 resources on each boat, and he just casted Prosperity, giving him that gold income to make these boats. Now, you don't think it's viable?
Classical fight with the arrow ships from ISIS?
Yes.
I do not think it's viable. I think that's the easiest way to lose the game. Especially if you're not going Anubis. And if you're going Anubis and you're using the Plague of Serpents, then he has ceasefire for your ancestors, so you're still kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So, no, I just think this is suicide. I think this is a really bad idea.
Well,
there's no way he can win against +4 range ships. He has to do some total magic with micro, and Ghostlake has to play with one hand or something.
According to my count here, Lorenzo, he just forced ceasefire, and Avely has much more boats than Ghostlake does. Ghostlake only sitting at 8, while you got the ISIS player sitting on 16 boats. But there's a big but.
That's because
there.
He's going heroic.
Exactly. He is going Dionysus. He's going to have those Skylas. By the time that ceasefire is finished, those Skylas are going to be in action. Avely needs to think fast, needs to act fast. I would start picking up town centers right now. What do you think? Just go heroic as Avely, pick up TCs. What's the details?
I would try and follow towards heroic and get heroic fleet and just go really hard on water. And the reason for that is that a lot of players think as soon as they hit heroic and the other player is not in heroic and is committing to classical arrow ships, and you have the Skilla out, that they will stop fighting water, that they will give it up.
But it's too late.
If you actually just make a lot of ships and just continue pushing water, the Poseidon player usually gets caught off guard, and the Poseidon player will stop creating any ships, and because of that you can sometimes actually win water back. So that's something you could do, but once again, if the Poseidon player pays attention, checks upgrades, whether you have heroic fleet or not, and assesses it correctly, and then makes a lot of siege boats, you still cannot win, and you still cannot win water. But that's something you could do. That's one of the tricks you can employ.
Right, but at this point it's already too late for Avely to go heroic at this point. So clearly,
I don't think he has the resources.
Clearly, he's going to end up losing these boats, but it's going to be quite the battle here. I'm not sure if Ghostlake is going to fight it. Maybe he's going to wait for more Skylas, because that is quite an enormous amount of boats from Avely. Okay, I don't usually see this happening, but bronze on boats. What do you think?
I think that's actually a very nice use of bronze. I usually do it as well. Bronze is pretty meh on like human troops, but on ships it's really nice.
I honestly don't see it happen too often. Do you?
I actually see it happen fairly often. So
Yeah, it's mostly on troops as far as that goes, but that's quite nice. I mean, Avely did end up losing all his boats at the cost of Ghostlake losing just only a couple. So that's really going to put Avely behind here. And the only way he can recover is, I would say, just get back in the show. It needs to make
No, there is
Townsend.
no way. There is really no. There is no way. Like all of this fish, and especially Ghost Lake's fish, it's really close to his docks. If he adds an extra dock to the left of his first dock, and then gets the fishing upgrades, which he's already doing.
But what's Avely
Like
doing?
there's nothing you can do against that.
What's he doing right now? He's on his way to heroic. He's making more docks. Is his only chance fighting Ghostlake off water, or
He
is
needs
he?
to win back water.
He needs
Because
to
if
win.
you do not win back water, the economic advantage is just too large.
He is kiting this boat quite well, but I don't think he needs to kite it since the dock. Oh, the dock has 20 range, doesn't it, for a shooting range?
Yes.
Okay, so that was smart kiting there by Ghostlake, kiting the arrows. Skyla's just taking out this dock without too much trouble. Each Skyla, keep in mind, has 40 attack with those two heads. Absolutely enormous. So looks
So
here.
something I do not understand. By the way, look at the score right now. Look at the score.
Yeah, it's more than double.
Yep, it's less than 1,000 against 2,000.
Well,
It's gonna go up now because he just reached heroic, but still, it's still about double. Anyway, I don't understand Avely's plan here because he was going to fight classical, but that loses against literally everything that Ghostlake can do. If Ghostlake fights classical as well, you're gonna lose if you fight classical. If Ghostlake goes heroic, you're gonna lose if you fight classical. So what was he really thinking? Was he really that confident in his micro, or because
I think it was more so confident in his micro. I think that's what it is, because really, you know the Poseidon player is going to go heroic age. You know he's got bronze. You know he has Skylas. You know his boats have more range than he does. So I'm not sure exactly what that was all about, Avely fighting classical with boats. As for me, I would only make one or two boats and go straight heroic, A&E his base. It's probably going to end up being ceasefire before him, but I'll see A&E right after. And I'll just go from there. However, in this case here, we have a gold mine just in front of the Avely's second town center. Avely has pickaxe and hand axe, whereas Ghostlake has bow saw and pickaxe there. So rather good economic upgrades from both players. I don't believe any player has any line upgrades for armory. And Ghostlake has most definitely secured the water. He does want to pick up his Avely does want to pick up his third TC, but Ghostlake is just denying it.
So close to the water, so like he can just kite back towards the water, and the remaining airships will help him on land.
Exactly.
So it's very hard to get that down.
Especially knowing that those airship have 16 range, able to secure that TC for Ghostlake.
He may Ancestors plus Eclipse this. Yeah, he is.
And there it is. He's got 15 villagers on that mine. Ancestors Eclipse is definitely going to pick off at least 5 villagers. I'm estimating at least 5, and then you got a couple here that died. So, okay, more than 5. It looks like some villagers got stuck behind that wood line there, so that's quite nice. Now, if Avely scouts this, that would have been nice as well, but doesn't look like it. Ghostlake, does he want to lose his Hippocon? Why is he moving them in? I guess he missed it. He's going for this town center up here, and that was smart. I just realized Ghostlake was moving his Hippocon down south so Avely could chase them. But Ghostlake looks like he really wants this TC. And it's just about built. Nothing Avely could do here. His A&E has just been swallowed up by that Hippolyta and Hippocons there. Still got a couple chariots down here at south. Ghostlake just picking off whatever is remaining.
Actually, now that I think about it, Egyptian against Greek on Mediterranean is probably one of the more imbalanced matchups in the game. Not counting any Highland stuff like Odin against Zeus or something.
Well, the way I like to play this matchup is to go Titan. To go Titan versus Greek.
Yeah, but you can't do that against better players. They will kill you before that.
Well, you save Eclipse, Ancestor has a base, Force Ceasefire, and well, it really depends on your fish, but a lot of times I enjoy going Titan. However, with fish like this, I don't think I would have gone Titan. I think I would have just fought Heroic, stayed in Heroic, and for this matter went straight to Heroic, not fight Classical and suicide a lot of his boats that he did to Skylas and Bronze.
Actually, the evolution of me playing ISIS on this map against Greek is actually pretty interesting, because I started off like I would try to fight water, and that didn't work, so I would try to go heroic, and that didn't work, etc. And eventually I would just try to fight water really hard, and if that didn't work, I would resign. So I would kind of prematurely resign, because I knew I couldn't win after I lost water. Whereas previously I would try to like boom on land, grab town centers, make farms, etc. But I just ended up resigning as soon as I lost water. And now actually I just straight up resign when I see Mediterranean. I don't even bother playing the game. So that's a pretty interesting evolution, I think. It also tells you something about my opinion on this matchup. As I said at the start, it's going to be free win for Ghostlake, and it looks like it's going to be a free win.
Well, when you start playing against me, you're going to have to start resigning more often to save you some time.
Have you ever played 1 versus 1? I don't think we have we?
Alright, so it looks like we got a fortress here made by Ghostlake, just making some siege catapults there. You know what I like to see, Lorenzo?
Yeah, what's up?
I like to see a nice wall right there. A nice wall made by Ghostlake, and have his siege towers behind the wall, just to pick off pretty much everything. The tower, the houses. You know what I mean? Just a nice wall with a gate. Right there in front of his fortress. Next to those two tree lines.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because right now, this is what's happening. See what's happening now? The mercenaries are going to come in and pick off those Petrobus.
Doesn't really matter though. I mean, what can he do at this point? But well, yeah, I would definitely have made some towers and made a nice wall there to speed up the process.
Well, there's no process going to be sped up if he doesn't pay closer enough attention, because he's got idle Hippocon all over the map here. He is gathering quite a bit of favor.
That is true.
And he
seems like he just reached Mythic.
That's interesting. I wonder if he... Oh, I guess he's not making Colossi. He's going to research the armory upgrade there.
That's... Yes, he just did. That's nice. So we got it immediately. That's an improvement from last game where he kind of delayed it. Avely reaching Mythic. Don't really think he can do much with that, but maybe he can start building catapults and take down his former townsend, although I really doubt it, but that's what I would be going for right now.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you where this game ends. And it's going to end as soon as Avely's second mind is out. As soon as that's done, if Avely can't make something happen before that mine goes out, it's done. Check that out. He's got 2,800 gold left on that mine. The other mine is already finished. So, Avely really needs to push out and find a gold mine. Either that or just make a marvelous trade that's going to sustain him. But I don't think that's possible because he doesn't have enough of a line here. He is researching Titan though. He's at 65%. That's not bad. And that's what I mentioned. I mean, I would have had that Titan out longer, long time ago, but I guess that's because Avely suicided a lot of boats and resources, keeping him behind for quite some time. If it wasn't for that, I think Avely would have been okay this game. But I think that was his major mistake, don't you think?
No, this you just can't win this map. Like I don't know what else to tell you. There is no mistake to be
No,
made.
but I mean the major mistake.
Just the one civilization is better on this map than the other. That's all there is to it. Like he didn't really make any mistakes except for fighting classical. But like
Well,
everything
I mean,
else he
listen.
would have done, you could have classified as a mistake
Listen.
as well.
That's really highly up for debate. I mean, I play ISIS a lot, and you're telling me Poseidon versus ISIS on Mediterranean. I mean, I'll just make 2 extra towers next to my gold mine, research correlations, and that's that. I mean, ISIS is good to go. I just don't feel like Avely has played this correctly, which seemingly makes your opinion sound more valid, which, you know, all in all, everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their civilization and gods and such, but
Yeah, the beautiful thing about opinions is that they do not have to be representative of reality. You can have whatever opinion you want and it will be valid because that's what opinions are.
sounds like you're quite the fan.
What's that?
I said, sounds like you're a big fan
A big fan of what exactly?
of having your own opinion and that theory.
Oh yeah, sure. Everyone needs to have opinions. You know, opinions is very
Well,
important.
perhaps being more of a fan of that theory in itself. Not making much sense, but anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I don't really know what you're trying to get at, but
Well, we have a
maybe he
Titan.
can meteor the Titan gate in time. If he can meteor the Titan gate in time, he will get a Titan out, and you know that will give him some leverage. But I think Ghostlake can pretty much ignore the Titan, just put his 4 heroes on it, and then just leave and keep attacking the base.
Yeah, that's a nice meteor going to take out that Titan gate. Now, essentially, what I was
think it
talking
will.
about. Oh, is it going to go down?
Oh, is it not gonna take out the gate?
I guess not.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was totally gonna take out the gate.
But earlier, what I was saying was that
Unlucky.
you were mentioning throughout the match that consistently, you know, Poseidon versus ISIS, it's a free win, free win. That's something I really just doubt, and I don't
Yeah, but
think
you
that's
base
the
your
case
opinion
whatsoever.
of your own games, and you play at the 1700 level, which is fairly low compared to this level. You just can't win this game against better players, even if you are a better player. Eventually, you just reach some kind of cap where you just can't win anymore. Like I will tell you right now, if this was Ghostlake against the Mista, and most people consider the Mista to be a better player, Ghostlake would still win 10 games out of 10 games. I'm willing to guarantee that. I'm willing to put money on that, actually. No, wait, I'm not willing to put money on that because the map will be in balance with fish, etc. But he will definitely win the majority of the games. There's just nothing you can do against the. It's just the range of the ships. It's just four extra range. That's so massive. You just can't win against it. Like one civilization is just
Well,
straight up better than this map.
The thing is, I've seen some matches and I stream these matches for previous tournaments, and it didn't turn out to be this way.
I think you just made that straight up. I don't think you can even link me to those games. I just don't, because it just doesn't happen. I think you just made it up out of thin air. And if you want to prove me wrong, you can link me the replays right now. But I don't think they exist because it doesn't happen.
You don't think they exist?
Nope, they don't exist because like I said, it doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it's like 1 in like 20 games or something. It just straight up doesn't happen.
Well, let me say something now. It's too bad he's already used Eclipse, because that Titan would have definitely made it over to his Titan gate in time if he hadn't. But now that Eclipse is not available, Ghostlake is more likely to able to make his Titan and defend from Avely's. But Avely not having much chance here either way, since his economy is really just way too behind of Ghostlake's.
That's GG.
And he's going to call it GG. Pretty good game. But
yeah, it was an okay game. Even though it was kind of one-sided, it was still interesting to see the strategies of both players, like what they were going for. So all in all, it's still a good game, but it was very one-sided.
Yeah, I was really hoping Avely could do better here, but unfortunately, he didn't do too well in that water fight there, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens for next match, because right now it is 2-2, and of course it's a best out of 5, so we're on to the match that will pretty much decide the series.
Do you have any preference for the next map? Like, would you like to see a specific map, like maybe Watering Hole or Marsh or you name it?
Preferably, I'd like to see, let's see here, Alfheim being played, because I'd like to see how well Avely can really abuse his maps. Alfheim can be really lame for ISIS if done properly. Wall
Yes,
up all
I
the
agree with
creeks, the cliffs, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all know it's 2-2 right now. And we're on our way to get it started.
I would like to see a Marsh game, or maybe a Watering. Well, I don't know. Maybe not Watering Hole.
Well, I
but
need
maybe
to...
a Marsh game.
I haven't really seen much lane being done here by Avely. The number one thing to beat Poseidon is Scorpion Men, second Monument. Here's the formula, right? It's like a chemical formula to beat Poseidon. Here's the chemical formula. It's Scorpion Men, crenellations, walls, mercenary. That's pretty much the formula right there, flat out. And that's exactly what Avely needs to do. He needs just walls all over the place, crenellations, towers. He needs to max out his tower limit every single game. If he's not doing that, there's definitely I mean, as I mentioned, I'm very experienced with this matchup. ISIS versus Poseidon. It's one of my favorite matchups. Just for the fact it's really fun to play against. It's very fun to play against. Mainly because those chariots can pick off the Hippolyta really easily, and those Scorpion Men are just pretty much annihilating all those Hippicons. It's really fun.
Yeah, I really like the Scorpion Men. I think they are very effective.
Especially the Eclipse Scorpion Men, just pretty much going along, picking off, you know, poisoning 10 Scorpion Men. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, you got 5 dropping dead. But really, I like to see more lame. That's what I'm emphasizing about. I like to see more lame from Avely. I'm really not too happy what I've been seeing so far. Because Avely, what is that? He just lost 2 in a row right there? Game 3, Game 4?
Yeah, that's true. But in his defense, the last game wasn't really winnable because it was Mediterranean. I just want to keep stressing that because I feel I feel people downplay the
Well, let me
advantage
put it this way.
Greek has.
Let me put it this way. And I was taking it easy on you from earlier, but really, ISIS is good in any matchup, and that's my opinion. I really think so. ISIS is good in any matchup. Like, whether it's Mediterranean, Anatolia, pretty much everything. ISIS has 50 gold docks. You spam like 15 of them. You got prosperity. The thing is, that game that we just watched, Avely had like a 5 villager prosperity. And so, I think he, anyway, I think he could have done much better that game. Okay, so speaking of this match here on Marsh, at the bottom of the map, we have Ghostlake playing Poseidon once again. Of course,
I like Marsh.
He's in red. Yeah, Marsh is a good map. There's lots of hunt.
I love it. That's literally what I just said. I really want to see Marsh. I really want to see it.
And there's lots of lots of resources. Wood lines tend to be quite good here. Gold mines tend to be good for both players. So is the hunt. Very aggressive map as well. So it's good. And we should be expecting a lot of action here. And on the other side of the map here, guys, we got Avely. He's in blue playing ISIS. So, as we've seen in Game 1, Game 2,
Pay for Relic.
Avely tends to... oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great relic. To get those Scorpion Men out earlier, faster. That's 0.04 favor a second. That's almost equivalent to having half a monument, pretty much.
The scout is like, no, let's go. Don't get it, let's go. It's
yeah, I don't know why he's chasing that Pharaoh. He shouldn't be chasing that Pharaoh. Ghostlake should be scouting the map. You know, not wasting his time on chasing Pharaoh there.
Yeah, he's not really gonna accomplish much by just damaging the Pharaoh. Like, the damage is not gonna stick, and he's gonna lose a little bit of scouting time because he's busy attacking the Pharaoh instead of like moving in a straight line uninterrupted. So I don't really agree with this decision to attack the scout there. Shingles of Steel, that's actually also a pretty nice relic. For the ISIS player especially.
House hit points, main hit points, yeah, that's really nice. You mix in that relics. You mix in that relic with a nice wood, nice wall there, by the wood line, and that should really, defend your side of the map without too much trouble. Although Avely does have a pretty open map on this side here. It doesn't look like Avely has any backwards mines, which is a bit unfortunate because sometimes you do get a back mine on this map, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes you do. It's not guaranteed though, as you can see here. For example, I don't think there's a mine somewhere in the back. There's some dark spots, but I really doubt there's going to be a mine here. Maybe behind the forest, but no, I don't think that's going to happen. You can get a back mine here. I actually once tested like how much percent of the time there would be a back mine, and I think it was something like 1 in 5, and it actually feels a little bit more. It feels like it's something like 1 in 3, but also I should put a disclaimer. My sample size wasn't that large, so those may not be correct, but it seemed about 1 in 5 when I tested it objectively.
1 in 5 marsh maps have a back gold mine.
That's what I tested, but
right.
Like I said, I had a sample size of like I think 30 before I got bored, so that's obviously not a very large sample size. So players having some fun, talking to each other. It's very different than from what we saw with the previous semi-final. That was all being at each other's throat and flaming and talking trash.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In this case, they seem to be enjoying themselves, having fun.
They're enjoying each other's company, it looks like, and they're very, it looks like they're nice enough to even, perhaps say Ghostlake won the series, he would even offer Avely to go through. I mean, these players seem to be very nice to each other, very caregiving, even offering resources to the other player. I'm not sure what this is all about. Anyway, we are in match 5, and Ghostlake agent out with Hermes once again. I was hoping to see something different here, Lorenzo. Wouldn't you say so? I mean, I was hoping to
Yeah, but
see
what's he gonna
like
do? I mean,
Anubis, or because Anubis is very effective here, I think.
oh, you mean from the ISIS player? I
Yeah.
thought you meant from Ghostlake, but I mean, why would you go Ares? You know, it's. But
Well,
yeah, the ISIS player
yeah.
could have gone for classical fight, but it's typically just not that great. If he wanted to go classical fight, the map for that definitely would have been that Oasis map that he ended up losing. That would have been a very nice map for a classical fight. This map, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a nice Anubis fight, shake things up a little bit. I just think he's more confident with Bast, but Bast is good too. I mean, I don't typically there's no problem with it. Those Sphinx do a marvelous job versus those Hippocons.
Speaking of marvelous jobs being done, this archaic hero really messing up his food income,
Oh yeah,
having a
yeah,
lot of villagers chasing. It's so obnoxious to deal with.
absolutely, and it's happened every single land map that we've experienced. It's happened on Oasis. It's happened on all the matches. Ghostlake will just pop out that hero, and you'd think Avely would know better. Well, why didn't Avely go for his other boars? Because as soon as you say 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, approximately, I would take those villages off right away, off that food, and place the granary here on this side over there, next to his other boars that are closer to his tower there.
I think this is a mistake, by the way, this forward town center. I think that's a fairly large mistake.
Well, it is quite interesting. We don't often see a forward town center being done by Ghostlake. I mean, the previous matches here we've seen that Ghostlake would build a side town center. So it looks like he wants to play this more aggressively.
This, to me, just screams suicide.
Yeah,
Because a
well,
strong heroic push is just so hard to deal with. The first thing he will have to do is use ceasefire immediately, as soon as Avely reaches heroic, or like he catches him building his Migdol, to delay the push even more, and then he can maybe defend it if he plays well. He does have pretty much unlimited hunting, obviously, on this map. He also has pretty much unlimited gold. He has 2 back gold mines actually. That's pretty substantial.
you know what's really nice? Yeah, and you already mentioned this, but that 40% villager hit points, put in those villages at almost 100 hit points. Now, if he wanted, okay, he could do a super strong heroic push, A&E, 3 Scorpion Men, 3 Siege Towers, you got 10 Chariot Archers, 3 Elephants, and then you got 20 villagers. 20 villagers with 100 hit points. Go straight for that town center. I think that's very viable, and he's able to do that by 11 minutes. Maybe not 10 Chariot Archers, I'd say 12 minutes. 12 minutes he's able to do that if he wanted to. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has the food to do so, and as well the favor. Yeah, he's definitely able to get 2-3 Scorpion Men.
Yeah, he also got that relic, the Ankh of Ra. It's a very nice relic.
Yeah,
I was actually
exactly.
pretty excited when I saw that, because that may mean he gets like another Scorpion Man or something, which is actually a
Absolutely.
pretty substantial advantage.
And to check and see how substantial it is, we should definitely do the math on that. Half a monument. Half a monument, yeah, that's around extra Scorpion Men, extra 2 Scorpion Mens. And as it is, those Scorpion Men are already cheap.
They are 22 favor and 150 wood, so that's definitely on the cheaper side, especially for such a powerful myth unit.
And especially for the fact that you gather wood, that is the fastest gathered resource in this game here. So anyway, we see Ghostlake just building his stables out in the forward in front of his second town center.
Are we gonna see the ceasefire? That's what I want to know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see the ceasefire in between Ancestors Eclipse, because Avely's got a nice Migdol placement there, and
He should cease pretty much now, actually. Like, he can't wait. He can't
don't think
let
he's-
the Migdol get up.
I don't
needs
think
the
he
extra
scouted
time.
it yet. Okay, now he scouted it.
Now
Probably.
he definitely knows it. Ceasefire, ceasefire. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just in time.
Yeah, he really needs. That actually looks pretty trivial, but he really needs the extra minute of of basically idle military production because the Magdal hasn't been up yet in order to defend this forward town center.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate for Avely. I mean, every single time his Migdal got ceasefired, every single match that we've seen here tonight. Why doesn't he just build it in a hidden spot? Isn't that more objective, more probable to get his Migdal up? Perhaps send his military the
Well,
other way?
you either build it over a gold mine, or you build it towards the spot you will be attacking. And obviously he's going for a pretty strong siege push right now because Ghostlake kind of baited that out of him by taking the forward town center.
Avely just finishing up his houses now. I don't think he's got enough houses. He's only got 6 houses. Where's the rest? He's only got 6 houses up. 2, 4, 6. That's unfortunate. Should definitely get to that. Especially since Avely is only on 1 TC. Okay, so here it is, folks. He's going to make his other Scorpion men. We got 3 siege towers, as I mentioned. He's going to have 10 chariot archers. He's going to make a couple elephants and push. I'd like to see those villagers attack that TC as well, wouldn't you? Maybe. I mean, it's probable.
I don't know.
I would think about it. I'll definitely think about it. There's a 3rd Scorpion man in queue, not the 2nd. That's the 3rd one in queue. And really, it's extremely, and I want to emphasize this, extremely hard to deal with those Scorpion men. I mean, that Hippolyta just gets picked off by those chariot archers. Hippolyta costs 200 wood to make. There it is, A&E. That town center is going to go down. I don't doubt it. Ghostlake is going to run back. Wow.
Like I said, it seemed kind of suicidal, but I don't know.
I'm not even sure. I mean, there are situations where you can build a 2nd TC forward against ISIS. Some situations. And those situations are either you hurt his economy early on. Okay. The other situation is that the ISIS player doesn't have much food. And you hurt his economy early on. So you got to really look at these specifics. But in this case, Avely's got a full-blown economy. He had his pigs. He went straight for heroic on a good time. He's got, you know, that relic for the Scorpion men, relic for villagers. It's just very risky to build a 2nd TC forward against ISIS. And I don't know why Avely is moving his siege towers back. He should go straight for that stable there. While he's still got a bunch of Scorpion men. Well, he just got chariots getting picked off. They shouldn't be getting picked off. He's got a ton of myth units there on the side.
All those hippicons are so low in the top.
Yeah, now that you mention it,
Really low.
very low hit points, yeah. And 1 spiral from a Sphinx, 4 or 5 of them going to drop.
Or the special from Scorpion Man, it's more or less the same thing.
Well, I personally like the special from Sphinx better. So,
It makes them untargetable, which I think is pretty powerful sometimes. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Do it, sting him. Do it, what are you waiting? Wanna see it?
Avely losing quite a few villagers
Yeah,
now.
there we go. The poison has been launched.
Yeah, that was a nice sting there.
It's reaching the veins. That's
Ouch.
1 down.
Ouch.
2nd. That's the 2nd one. And it didn't actually spread to the other horses, I think.
It's like a virus.
Yeah, pretty much. Or like a bacteria, or like a parasite, or like, pretty much every other pathogen ever. Because
I would definitely not like to get stung by one of those. Sounds rather painful. Okay, so we see here we got around 20 villagers idle from Avely. He needs to move them into action. Looks like he's going to get that granary up there. So right now Avely is definitely an advantage. since
Yeah, definitely.
Ghostlake just lost a TC and losing pretty much all the buildings that were there and quite a few units to Ancestors Eclipse, especially Eclipsed Scorpion Man. And now Avely is just cleaning up, taking out whatever's left here. Here comes Aphrodite. I don't know why he's running with those Scorpion Men. I'd definitely attack with one Scorpion Man, run with the other. We got some lions coming up here. Well, that was a lion he aged up with.
Yeah, he's not making any additional lines. He actually took auto queue off his town centers. I see him doing this quite often. I don't really understand the logic behind it. Then again, I neither understand the logic of getting a forward town center. Like, as soon as he grabbed the town center, I immediately told you I think this is a bad idea. Because you,
well,
like,
it is risky.
How are you going to stop a push on this map? Like, what are you going to do?
Pretty much, the only Greek civilization allowed to take a forward second TC versus ISIS is Poseidon, but I mentioned it's only in very specific situations. I mean, we're talking about you got literally 20 stables in front of your town center, you got a nice wall, you harass his economy early on. Those are the situations you can build a second forward TC against ISIS. But really there, he only had 2 stables, he didn't have much going on. You understand what I'm saying? If he had like 10 stables, you know, a nice wall, gates, masons I think is a little bit excessive, but stables are nice versus ISIS because you get those militia, and it really can sustain you versus A&E.
Yeah, he definitely needed way more buildings. I don't think he created enough stables. I agree with that. He should have made like at least like double the amount that he made. And they're not all that expensive,
triple
especially
for that
when you
matter.
have 2 town centers. Like it's not a stretch to build them. You know, you don't have to do anything specific for it. You just plop them down and make a few less farms. So it's kind of odd that he didn't go for it.
Okay, so we already know all players use their god powers at this point. Nothing to do right now. Ghostlake looks like he just wants to harass Avely off his gold mine here. I don't think that's smart. I don't think that's smart from Avely to even be mining there. Why is he mining there? Why should he even let his villagers be harassed? Why doesn't he just go...
Ghostlake picking fights again that he shouldn't be picking.
That's correct. He shouldn't be picking that fight, clearly. But also, Avely shouldn't be mining there anyway. He's got a nice mine behind that lake, that water line there. If you just add a nice wall towards that wood line and the water line, at we're talking about 3 o'clock corner, that's a protected gold mine right there, isn't it? Either way, it's nice to have villagers in the forward though, just in case you want to build an extra Migdal, monument, towers, whatever the case. Alright, so just making some mercenaries, lion getting picked off there, Scorpion going down from the hero, Hypoliter going down. Scores look quite even. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's actually, the scores are actually more even than you would think.
I think a reason for that contributes to the fact that Avely wasn't able to get his economy up as fast as Ghostlake did. I think Ghostlake, his economy focused on macro better than Avely did. Avely has 3 idle elephants.
Also, Avely has no upgrades for, and I mean armory upgrades, whereas Ghostlake does.
Yeah, Ghostlake has really nice upgrades. He's got Spirited Charge, Heavy Hippocon, and bronze weapons. It's just losing that Pharaoh now.
So despite the setback of grabbing the town center and being greedy, which definitely set him behind, he's actually clawing back, which is very impressive, I must say.
Yeah, he's coming back. You know, I want to say he didn't lose much during that A&E push, but really it did hurt him quite a bit. I mean, he lost the whole town center. He lost quite a few military units.
He lost farms. I think he had farms.
I didn't see any farms, not that I know of.
I think he had farms, but I don't know for certain. I mean, he had a lot of hunts, so but I think I remember seeing farms, but I just may be wrong about that. I don't know. I have to check the recording.
Okay, looks like that Scorpion is putting in some work there next to Avely's second town center. Avely just building a Migdal and markets now. Maybe going to Mythic Age, we don't know, but this is match 5, that's what we do know. And this is semifinals. Of course, we're on to our last match of the series. Whatever happens here is going to decide everything. So do you think
This is actually pretty even.
So what's the next move here for Ghostlake?
Get Mythic Age, make a lot of towers, which he's doing right now, make a lot of walls, make a lot of range siege, and try to deny the third town center of Avely, or at least harass it. And for Avely, he needs to get Mythic, but right now he doesn't even have the food to sustain villages. So he's not getting Mythic anytime soon. He also needs to set up trade, but once again, if you do not have food to sustain villages, and you need to go Mythic, then how are you going to set up trade? You're not, that's the answer. So he needs to make more farms, he needs to get irrigation to boost his economy. That's what he really needs to do.
I don't like this fight. I don't like this fight with Ghostlake and Avely there.
It's a bad fight, and he realized it and he backs off, but still he took unnecessary damage.
I mean, okay, let me put it down to perspective. I like what Avely's doing. His towers, I like it. But what I don't like what Avely is doing is, number one, he doesn't have any walls. He's getting outlamed by Ghostlake, who's actually built some walls, towers, and siege. I haven't seen any of that by Avely. He's just playing like he would play, I don't know, Greek, for example. I mean, you really got to use ISIS to lame. You can't just sit there and go around defending from Hippocon raids all game long. You really need to use your villagers, at least use a couple villagers, wall up. Look, you got a nice water line. Both sides of the map has beautiful water lines. Start walling up that water line and start having a beautiful trade. That's at least a 200 gold trade cart right there. Here at the back of the water line here. You see what I'm talking about? That's a beautiful, beautiful.
Very, very large trade route, like all the way from the right corner towards his second town center.
He's got an excellent. I'm actually quite amazed how nice this map is for Avely. Not only that, Avely could also pick off a town center from Ghostlake if he actually makes a dock, but he's not doing that. He's not making a dock. No towers. No walls. He really needs to get back into the action here.
He searched boiling oil, which, to be honest, I do not really like.
I don't like boiling oil because you might as well be shooting. He didn't research boiling oil.
He did research boiling oil. I just saw him research it. But it doesn't show up in the unit information, just like some upgrades such as Magi. Magi doesn't show up in the unit information either of mercenaries, and it's the same for boiling oil. But he did research it.
Yeah, I don't like boiling oil, and somebody should really tell him that, because what boiling oil does is that instead of the range attack from a tower, it would be attacking the units below it. Okay, Avely calling it. Good game, unbelievable.
He called it. I actually didn't think he would call it that quickly. Actually, I don't even think it was like totally over. I definitely would have stayed in the game. So I'm kind of surprised that he calls it so quickly. But
I'm surprised as well.
Obviously I didn't see his resources, so barely got hit over with my food. Yeah, I don't think he had any food for Mythic anytime soon. And then with the upgraded towers, maybe it's gonna be GG.
Well, let's take a look at this, okay, for a second. Quick recap, alright? Avely's got gold, okay? He's got a great military, but he just wasn't able to keep up with, what was his problem? Heavy Hippocon and Siege, right? So if he can't keep up with Hippocon and Siege, number one, he shouldn't even let his opponent be using Siege against him. That wall should have been up by Avely before it was up by Ghostlake. Alright? And that's the point. If you're not going to build a wall, your opponent is going to build the wall instead and use it to his advantage. And, you know, how are you going to beat Siege with chariots? They're just going to keep sniping your TCs. Ghostlake already making docks over here. You know, if I was Avely, I would have built the dock on this left side of the water line much earlier, without a doubt. You know, and anyway, I just think his micro wasn't too good either. He's got lumber camps spread apart from these villagers, losing a lot of wood there unnecessarily. Well, it was a great series.
Have enough farms. He should have made way more farms.
What is that? He's only got 3 farms. The rest of the time he's on boars. That's not smart. By the time you get heroic age and you got irrigation, stop hunting boars. Stop hunting boars. Why is he hunting boars that far out? No wonder he's being raided the whole game. Okay, but good game either way. I would definitely played that a little differently, but very interesting. Very nicely done with Avely on taking that TC out. Definitely, I'd consider that a mistake from Ghostlake. Okay, so now that the 5th match is finished, Ghostlake is going to pass a 3-2 to the finals. He is going to be playing the Mista. And of course, we're going to have Ghostlake jump on. He's going to jump on the line here. We're going to give him a few questions. So if you guys have any questions for Ghostlake, go ahead and shoot. So, did you notice any flaws from either player? Like, big flaws? Anything that you would do differently?
I would have made more farms, basically. And I would have gotten cannulations a little bit earlier in some games, such as the Oasis game.
On the Oasis game, you would have built more farms, and so is...
No. On the Marsh game, the last game we saw, I would have built more farms, and I would also have researched cannulations earlier, and especially on the cannulation in the Oasis game. I don't think he researched cannulations at all the entire game in the Oasis game, which I think was a mistake.
Yeah, well, he researched cannulations late, I believe, in all his games. That should have definitely been his first tech against Poseidon, no matter what. Hello, Martin. So here, guys, for the viewers, we got Ghostlake on the line for you. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and shoot. I'm going to start off by asking him and telling him, actually, Ghostlake, congratulations. You won that match 3-2. Phenomenal job. I thought you did a great job. Letting your guard down in the first 2 games. Now, were you just heating up? Were you just warming up in the first 2 games, or what exactly happened there?
I made the wrong strategy on Ghostlake. I had no food and wasn't able to make a good economy without food because I was on 2 town centers. So
right,
that was a little bit failed by me. I should have played 1 TC and just staff him or something.
Now overall,
what was the first map?
I wasn't sure exactly which was the first map, but I want to ask you overall, were you confident to play against Avely?
Oh no, I think Avely is very underrated. He's for example way better than Firefox. if it comes down to Egyptian.
Oh, some smack talking. A little bit of shit talking. Ghostlake
Alright.
and Firefox just love to smack talk each other.
No.
a little bit.
Another question for you then. So did you practice with Avely beforehand? Why would you think he's underrated? Is it because of the games you just played now, or perhaps you played him and trained with him beforehand?
In general, he's no guy who posts a lot of games. Like, if Armicore wins, and I mean, I like Armicore, but if Armicore wins, he goes on RTS Sanctuary, posts the wins, and writes, "I'm a legend," and shit like that. And that's something Avely would never do. So
Right.
many people simply underrate Avely because he never ego posts, or almost never ego posts.
Well, that's one
No
good
offense
thing.
to Armicore, I think it's lovely that he does so.
Well, it looks like you're definitely the legend here, because you're the one who's advancing to the finals, and Army Corps has been eliminated already in the semifinals against Mista. So are you excited to play against Mista in the finals? And do you think you'll win, truly? I want to know truly, do you think you'll win these matches?
Well, Mr. always used to pwn me pretty hard when we played, and then we had a series where he went 2-0 rated versus me, and the games afterward it was 2 again. He made 2 wins and I made 1 win, and then we played rated again, and it was 1 win for each of us. So this time I'll turn it around and try to beat him.
All right. Well, it should be rather interesting. I mean, it is the best out of 7. I do want to switch it over to Lorenzo. Lorenzo, do you have any quick questions for Ghostlake?
How confident were you on the Mediterranean map?
Oh, super confident. I know Avely sucks on Mediterranean. I mean, Isis can be very strong on Mediterranean if it's well played, but Avely is always a little bit off on Mediterranean, so I knew from the beginning it's a 100% win. And when I won water and was up in heroic, I just played it out because I was so much ahead.
Alright, I just want to ask one more question. You said ISIS can be very strong on that map. Is that in general, or is that specifically against Greek? Would you say that ISIS has an advantage, or even that it's even against Greek on that map? Because I totally do not think that's the case.
Oh, it's ISIS. We talk about ISIS because I think, for example, Ra is very weak on Mediterranean. So Isis it's even against Poseidon. Zeus may be better versus ISIS, I think, on Mediterranean.
Have you ever lost against ISIS on Mediterranean?
Yes, I lost against Hell's Ravage. I lost against. Actually lost. I mean, I played thousands of games. Of course, I lose sometimes. So.
Okay, very good. So I just want to switch it over to Jollyman now. Jollyman, I know you have a few questions for Ghostlake, so go ahead on that.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, the Mister is mainly a Zeus player. Do you think he's going to go Zeus versus your Poseidon? And, I mean, if so, that's quite a tough matchup for Poseidon. How would you sort of go at that matchup?
I think if he goes Zeus, I'm lucky, because Seth is actually way better against Poseidon, especially Mr. Seth. So if he goes Zeus, I have a decent chance. If he gets Seth, I think I'm pretty much doomed.
Okay, very good then. So it looks like, well, I just want to thank you for coming on TeamSpeak, number 1, and
No problem. Thank you for casting and hosting the tournament, chicks.
taking
And thank you to Lorenzo.
taking the interview. And that's it, guys. Looks like that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and of course the games. And I'll see you guys in the finals. Don't miss it.